Hey guys, FACR Delimon here today. I want to talk about the difference between using a race suspension and not using one. The main reason for using a race suspension is to adjust your car's under and oversteer values so that they reach the perfect tension point that allows your car to use the maximum grip available without the car slipping and sliding. This also increases the car's responsiveness as a whole and allows you to turn without the awful feedback effect you get from the suspension being too tight. The first video will show you what bad sway bars look like. The car will slide all over the place and loses a lot of time because of such. I also cannot use the majority of the track like I normally would because of that slippage. The second video with stiffer sway bars around a 2 to 3 stiffness setting at the front and 4 to 5 at the rear, which is my basic tuning setup for sway bars. In this video you will see that the car drifts less, but the suspension's tension point is very bad. What that means is that the tension point was too early, forcing the car to try and straighten itself out, preventing you from turning. You'll see this happen multiple times in the video, especially when I want to make a tight turn since the suspension is not free. You'll see me let off the throttle and wait for the car to start turning again before I start accelerating. The last video is with the racing suspension. Keep in mind that because I put on a racing suspension, I had to drop the car's power a little bit to use it. What you're going to notice here is that the car is much more responsive and behaves like a car that is racing should. I want you to focus on the final long winding corner as well, which shows the difference between having a race suspension and not having one. I was racing on the car's new tension point, which is much greater than what it was without having the race suspension. I only ran 2 laps with each setup, which also shows the ease of use of each of these builds as well. I did not massively modify the tune with the race suspension either. I only adjusted it once after the first try. To tune your race suspension, you need to decide if you want understeer or oversteer. For oversteer, you decrease the stiffness on the front suspension and increase the stiffness on the rear. If you want understeer, you do vice versa, which means to increase the stiffness on the front and decrease the stiffness on the rear. You're not tuning these settings to give you a better feel for the car. What you're actually doing is changing the tension point so that the car can use the maximum grip that it has available without sliding. If you use too much oversteer, then you're just going to spin out because the car won't have any tension, and that's not what you want. And what you're going to get from that is also a lot of wheel spin, when wheel spin equates to loss of time because you don't have traction. First, I will show you the video with default sway bars, which is bad because it's too much oversteer and wheel spin while cornering. Then I will show you the adjusted sway bars to reduce the oversteer, but you're going to see that I run into that tension problem in suspension and I cannot keep turning. After that, I will show you the tune with the race suspension that eliminates that problem and allows me to continuously turn. The first 2 times were in the mid-high 153s, so about 153.7-ish, somewhere around there. And the last time was in the mid-151, so around 151.5, 0.6, or somewhere around there. It's about a 2-second difference between using a race suspension and not using one. And lastly, I will show you all the replays side by side so you can see the difference between them. Thanks for listening and enjoy the videos.